Hello everyone, and welcome to our new tier list. From all the things I would have thought I would make as a tier list, guys, I never thought I would make this. Like, I genuinely, from all the options I had in my head, I thought, maybe I could do a tier list of, I don't know, probably some Massive Attack albums, or some Prodigy albums, or literally anything else, even fucking Behemoth, or fucking, I don't know, literally anything else. But I never thought I would have to do this tier list. And what do I mean by when I say this, as you've seen from the title, is Skillet albums ranked. Okay, I don't want to make this too long. I'll just tell you some backstory of what is my what are my thoughts, or how what did I think of, and think at this point about the band and so on. So basically, Skillet has been in my life for almost the entirety of it. Like, I kind of always knew about their existence and shit. Even when I was a very, very young kid, I still kind of knew about it. I knew that, oh yeah, they're a rock band or some shit. But I never really clicked with them until I was around, I'd say probably 12 years old in 2017. They were probably actually the first band I actually liked quite a lot, believe it or not. And I thought that, you know what, why not make a tier list of their studio albums, considering that they're my first musical love, if I can say it like that. Quote, musical love, you know what I mean? So, again, I don't know what else I could say. Again, let's just begin by making this tier list. But I'll be telling you from now, if you guys are interested in more tier lists, I'll leave the link in the description. I have a playlist. I made a bunch of other tier lists, so if you guys are curious and if you want more content like this, just subscribe to my channel, and you know the drill. So, let's begin. Okay, just one thing before we begin this. I don't want to put the first three records, because at the not only that I didn't listen to them, right? But I also think that Skillet at the time was very undeveloped. Like, they were not the band that they pretty much became in the 2000s, and after that, they were just kind of finding their sound. Like, they were literally just potting with that skillet. They were just frying that egg before it was actually completely fried, in my opinion. So we're not going to count their first three records, which is Self-Titled from 1996. Hey You, I Love Your Soul, but for some reason it's not here. But anyway, released in 1998, and Invincible, released in 2000. And there's also this live album, if I'm not wrong, but again, it's an live album, so we're going to exclude that too. But we'll begin with their 2001 album, Alien Youth. Oh god, we're going back in time, aren't we? Oh, and just one thing again, if you guys are curious about the instrumentals of the songs, or who made the karaoke versions or whatever, links are in the description. But again, let's begin. Alien Youth, released in 2001. Now again, I don't know if they were even a mainstream band by this point. I guess they were still just airing on, you know, Christian radio stations and so on. I believe they're still kind of an underground band. But I would argue that this was around the time where it kind of found their sound, and it kind of knew what they were going for. And this was also the oldest album of theirs that I actually listened to. And I mean, I know a few songs from Invincible and their self-titled record, but I didn't listen to those. Like, I never really cared about them, even when it was my Skillet phase in 2017, kind of 18. Even back then, I didn't really care about those albums, but I tried Alien Youth, and to be quite honest with you, it's not a bad record, but again, this is just one of the oldest ones. They were not even mentioned by this point. Again, they were probably a little popular again in the Christian rock communities and so on, but they were just kind of looking for sound. Oh, but I have to say one thing. This album is still better than Modern Skillet, and I'm telling you from now. Like, it's good. It's pretty good. But I wouldn't say it's that good. Even for a Skillet standalone record, this is kind of lacking in a lot of things. But it's kind of fun. It has some really fun moments here and there. It's alright. I'm kind of it's tied between B and C, right? But again, I've not really clicked with this record. I think it's still a bit better than their newer records, but I like a few songs in here, such as the title track, Eat Me, Drink Me, or what the fuck? How the fuck was that song called? I'm probably confusing it with the Marilyn Manson song. But there was some song of theirs that I like. Eat me, No, it was Kill Me, Heal Me. Yeah, that was the song. Kill Me, Heal Me is also pretty good. There was also some other ballad that I kind of like, but again, it's mostly forgettable. Although I have to give them props for trying to be a bit more ambitious. Next, we have their 2003 record, Collide. This album had a more nu metal sound. In fact, it had a more raw production style as well. It's much heavier than Alien Youth, and basically everything they've done at that point, it's a very interesting record. I like the team behind it, the concept. It sounds pretty dark and nostalgic for me personally. And I listened to this album for the first time in early 2018. This was already at the time when I was out of my Skillet stage. By that point, I was more of a Metallica and even Escape the Fate fanboy. But I still really like this record, even back then. And not only that, but even now, when I listen to it, I still think it's a very decent record. For a nu metal record that came out in 2003, okay, at the tail when the genre kind of died, this is pretty impressive. There's no other album that kind of sounds quite like it. It's not only because of the Christian themes it has, but it's so dark, and it's also really heavy, and the drumming is absolutely amazing. The drumming on this record is probably one of the best. I have to give the props to Lori Peters, I think that was her name. She was an incredible drummer. She was really good. Like, no disrespect to Jan, but Lori was much better. Like, she was really good at the drums. But the guitar is also really fucking heavy on this thing. And I like the orchestral elements that they put in here. Overall, it's a great record, right? It's good. I'm not exactly sure how to call it. It's a very unique album, to be honest. It was one of the first of this kind of I actually listened to, so I can't really categorize it, but I'd say that it kind of sounds a little like Linkin Park and POD in, in terms of lyrical content. So I actually liked it. I can't put it on C. I don't think it was actually a bit more polished, a bit more interesting, and personally I connected with it better. And it's not even a B word because the songs are actually really good, and all the songs on this album but one are at least pretty decent. I can't put it on S because it's not a good record, even for Skillet, but I'll put it on A. It's actually a very decent record and a pretty good nu metal record from that time. I actually recommend it, you guys. You should listen to it. It still holds up pretty well. And next we have Comatose, released in 2006. This was, in my opinion, the last album they made as, let's say, kind of, they still didn't blow up yet, and yeah, I forgot to mention, they still didn't blow up yet, neither on Collide, but with this album, they got a bit more mainstream, to be told. When they released, Whispers in the Dark, Comatose as a title track, and the other singles, they were a bit more mainstream, and not only the Christian rock or radios, contemporary radios or whatever, they were more popular in general. They kind of got a little mainstream traction, if you know what I mean. So they're kind of going there. And what's my personal opinion about this record is that it's good. It's not bad. It's not very great. It's not good, but it's not bad, right? It's actually pretty decent, pretty good, in fact. But I wouldn't say it's as good as Collide. Like, I can't even say it's as good as it, because Collide, in my opinion, had a better direction, better sounds. It was produced better. I like the songwriting more. The lyrical themes on that album were better. But this album is still pretty good. I like how they did. This album was more orchestral. This album had more symphonic elements to it. But unfortunately, this album was also the beginning of the time where they would just rely on this, let's say, I don't know how. I'm not sure if it's a recipe, but this band has implemented a mindset in their albums, if I can say, like, or to their music, that each album should have this kind of oddly similar structure. Like, it has, half of the tracks are ballady, half of them are pretty heavy and hard rock, and all of them have these, orchestral sounds. But again, considering that this was the first album they made like this, considering it was their first, and it was probably a progression for, for what they did on Collide, I'll put it on B tier. I mean, it's honestly not a bad alternative metal record on its own, but it's, even for Skillet, and in general, it's not as good as Collide for Skillet, but in general, it's not a very good record, right? It's just not as good, but again, it wasn't that migraine or brain damaging, or again, it wasn't that migraine inducing as the future records, which I'll get into right now. Next we have Skillet Awake, released in 2009, and this was the time when, in my opinion, Skillet kinda got downhill, right? Okay, I know the general consensus really likes this record, and so did I when I was around 12 years old, obviously. But this album is just okay. It's not terrible, but it's not even as good as Comatose, and in fact, it's not even as good as Alien Youth, because this album, in my opinion, just literally copied the same style of Comatose, although a bit different, and not different in the best or the good way, but rather just copied Comatose. And not only that, but this album was also more mainstream. So it's two things that just kind of put it down. So yeah, it's not a good record. Although I have to say that Awaken Alive is good. It's a good song. It's not Me, It's You. It's also pretty alright. Monster is okay, I guess, if you really just want to go in that Jekyll and Hyde mood. But other than that, this record kind of likes. Hero is also pretty decent, I guess. But again, too many ballads, too many, I don't know, mainstream rock-friendly songs on it. And again, this was the time when, in my opinion, Skillet started to get downhill. And I'm telling you from now, the three albums we have left, I'm not going to be easy on them. that's all I can say. So let's make this quickly now. Next we have Rise, released in 2013. Again, in 2017, when I was just a fresh fan of the band, I really liked this record. I really liked songs such as Not Gonna Die or Rise. Circus for Psycho was probably one of my favorites, and it still kind of is. I'm not going to deny it. Freak Show is also, even though that was a bonus track, that was also pretty good. Salvation was alright, and in a way it was a bit better than Awake, I suppose, a bit better, but not a good record. Still kind of, I don't know, just same shit as Awake. They didn't do anything new here. It's just kind of like Awake Part 2, but at least here they kind of were a bit more ambitious with trying to change their sound a bit. As I said, at least this album was a bit heavier in a way, but it still included a bunch of ballads, which I fucking hate them. They give me brain damage. And then I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but they're just not good. And when you listen to so many of them, all of them are getting lumped in together, and you just like, man, this band sucks, you know? And it's not good. It's not a good record. Although I have to say that it's a bit better than Awake. I don't see myself going back to it. It's, you know what? I guess I'll put Alien Youth on B tier. Like, I genuinely think Alien Youth is a bit better than those two right here. Even though I have not really listened to that record that much, I should probably do it again. At least they tried to do something new on that album, and it was pretty interesting. But these two, holy fucking shit. But again, Rise has some pretty good songs which I still kind of found to be a little good. As I said, Rise is pretty good. The title track is also, it's pretty good. Rise, title track. Not Gonna Die is also pretty good. Although that song kind of got overplayed for me. And I said, Circus for Psycho, Freak Show, and it was Salvation, which I kind of like. But again, half of the record is, just skip it, I don't know. And oh my god, right now we are going to, oh no, this is going to be bad. Oh my god, Unleashed, released in 2016, sucks balls. This album is shit. And even back in 2017 and 18, even when I was still in the beginning of being a Skillet fan, I just found this album to be lame as shit. The production on it sucks. I don't like the production on this thing was worse than Rise. At least Rise kind of sounded good with the guitars and the orchestral elements here and there. But this album has that annoying and that I don't know how to describe it. It's that plastic sounding drums to it that like you're just like playing with your fucking foreskin instead of a guitar. The sounds of the guitar on this thing also suck ass. John Cooper's vocals are the same. Oh, I forgot to say that, you know what, on Collide his vocals were pretty good, but on this thing, they're fucking horrendous. They're annoying. And all the songs, again, aside from 3 songs which are not even that heavy, like, let's say Circus for Psycho or Monster, even Monster, all the songs here are just like, Jesus, he saved me. Some shitty 0101 riff, Jesus, I love you. And that's it. And the few electronic sounds here and there, and that's it. It's just a shitty fucking record. It's horrible. It's one of the worst albums I've probably heard in my life. And I don't even say this often, but as I said, not even in 2017 and 18, when I was a big fanboy of this band, I never liked this album. I never liked it. It's annoying. It's even way worse than Rise and Awake combined. It's a shitty record and avoid at all costs. Again, if you guys, if there by any fucking chance there are some people who actually like this thing, okay, I'm sorry for you. Like, I'm sorry that I'm being so brutally honest, but I don't like it. I don't like this thing. I never liked it, and I'll probably never like it. Not that I should like it. But hey, I have to admit that Out of Hell is pretty decent. Out of Hell has a pretty decent week. At least that. And next we have in 2019 Victorious. Now, this was the first album they released at the time when I was not interested in the band anymore. Like, at this point, I just completely lost it with Skillet. At this point, I was kind of, you know, trying to... like, I knew that modern shit sucked, so I was just listening to old school new metal for the most part, or metal in general, industrial metal, groove metal. So at this point, even by then, I kind of realized that Skillet was a lost cause, right? So I didn't particularly listen to this album fully. I kind of did to half of the track list, around summer 2019. I don't remember when this thing came out exactly, but I think roughly around summer 2019. But I'm telling you from now, although I have to admit that it's a minor improvement over Unleashed, I think the guitars here kind of sound a bit better. And I have to admit that Save Me is a pretty decent song. But other than that, this record is just on the same, it's the same shit as Unleashed. It's the same fucking shit. It's this, all the songs are like, "You're good, Jesus, you saved my life, you're so good," the project they took on Unleashed. And then a few songs later, like, "Jesus, you are everything for me," and it's the same fucking shit over and over again. And as I said, even though I praise the guitars, which they're actually pretty decent, Save Me, which I also praised, Save Me is just kind of sounds like a song that it was kind of like a B-side to Awake or Comatose. And again, this is not a good thing. Although it's probably their best song since Rise, that doesn't mean that that's a good thing. It's still a very average band, average song for an average band, which is never going to evolve. Like, I'm not here to shit on this band. I don't even shit on bands. Like, I usually try to find something positive about them, but Skillet, at least for the 10 years or so, have not delivered anything new. Probably more than 10 years, but yeah, you get the point. Nothing interesting here, nothing that you should listen to on this record. It's just straight bullshit. It's skip it. It's not as terrible as Unleashed, I'll give it that, but other than that, it's still very bad. Horrible. Upon researching for this video, I actually found out that there's also another Skillet album that came out this year. Yeah, apparently I was living under a rock. I had no clue at all, and I usually am, you know, updated with what bands do in general, with when they're gonna put out a record and so on. But I had no idea that Skillet actually put out a new record, apparently in January of this year, which is called Dominion. I listened to it just a few hours ago before before I started making this video, and I have to say that, you know what, it's not like I would have expected more or less. I just want to talk about it for a little. I'm not even sure if I can rank it. Again, I wouldn't have expected more from modern Skillet, and yeah, that's true. Again, the production still sucks ass, still still sounds like your average modern rock bands. You know, the production is horrible. The lyrics are the same shit over and over. But I have to say that the title track, Dominion, again, I'm trying to be a little positive. I've listened to that one. That was pretty decent. Kinda decent. The guitar solo in that thing was where that was probably the best moment of the entire album. That's where it kind of shined. But again, I've not listened to the entire thing. I can't really give a proper opinion. Just like, let's say, most of these records right here. But I don't have to listen to them if I don't like them, right? I just listened to all of the track lists and I gave up there. I gave up halfway there again. I don't want to listen to this shit. I don't want to waste my time. If I don't like any song in, let's say, over and half of the record, then what's the point of me listening to the other half? And again, this is the curse that Skillet's going to live with forever. It's a band that started out pretty okay. They could have gotten somewhere if they kept experimenting with genres. I mean, compare Alien Youth to Collide, and compare Collide to Comatose, and vice versa to all these three records, and tell me that they do not sound drastically different from one another. Even though you may not like them, at least they tried doing something. At least they really indeed tried to do something. And the production, as I said, not only in terms of sound, but the production, the vocals, everything on these albums are different to one another. And this is actually a thing I really liked about Skillet in the 2000s. But again, starting with Awake, they found their recipe for success, and rather, instead of making some pretty decent, let's say, new metal, alternative metal, hard rock songs, they just decided they should do shitty, garbage, mainstream rock songs. So yeah, this is the end of my ranking. It honestly kind of felt like forever, and it kind of hurts me. I mean, in a way, yeah, I know 2017, as I said, I kind of like the scent Rise, Awake, even those two records I kind of like, but especially Comatose. Even though I liked them even back then, I was kind of aware that they're not the best band, and as I said, I was aware that Unleashed also sucked ass. So in a way, it kind of hurts me, because Collide is a good album, and I liked them quite a lot when I was younger, but yeah, they had the potential being, and I believe they still have. I mean, John Cooper has a side project, side band called Fight the Fury, which actually has a pretty decent AP. I think it's actually pretty good, but even that, it's not that good. But still, I don't know. I believe they had more potential to do something bigger with the music, but unfortunately, that seems to not be the case. This is the end of my Skillet review. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you guys want to see more ranking videos, you have the link in the description. I'll be trying to do more rankings again, other bands that I kind of listen to the full discography, almost full discography. I'm thinking of probably Deftones, I'm just saying, or probably something about Subwoofer, I don't know, I'll see about that. And some other tier lists as well, as you know, ranging from fucking anime to video games and movies and so on. So again, just stick out with me, you guys, if you guys are interested in more, you know, rankings. Again, this is just my personal opinion, don't get too triggered over it. Again, if you guys actually like Skillet or modern Skillet, that's good for you. I personally do not like them. If you, in my opinion, if you want some good hard rock or even mainstream rock at the best, then listen to Stone Sour, which I actually made a ranking, so you should actually, Stone Sour is actually pretty good. But yeah, again, other than Collide and probably Comatose, I mean, man, probably Alien Youth, I'm not recommending this band. So yeah, again, I probably liked them more when I was 12, but yeah, that was, I'm not saying. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Have a nice day.